Yo, what is up? It is Ether here. And this is going to be, as you can see from the title, what if Naruto had Zenkai boost? So, this is going to be covering part 1 of Naruto. And this is actually going to be a collab with my friend King Donald. He's a pretty cool and amazing what if YouTuber. I actually started this channel with a little bit of motivation from him because, I just figured, heck, why not make what ifs? And, I got the chance to make a, sort of collab with him. So, go make sure to go check out his channel. I'll leave the link in the description. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, guys, so to start things off, no, Naruto won't be a Saiyan, and he also will not have ki. The only thing I'm going to be giving him in this video is going to be Zenkai boost. And he's going to have a little bit of more of a thirst for fighting, kind of like Goku. He'll also become aware of what he has at a young age. Now, to explain, like in canon, he'll be born and his parents will actually die, leaving him alone with Hiruzen quote-unquote raising him. But this time, he's going to have a 2 times harder of a childhood, with people beating him up and being a whole lot meaner to him than usual. He would grow up being stronger than most and have more physical strength than every other kid around him, but after every beatdown, he would notice that he would get continuously stronger. Anyways, he'll be walking in the village one day when he's about 8, and a Chunin will come in and try to attack Naruto, but this is when Naruto will finally have enough of this and rush the Chunin and go in for a thunderous uppercut, followed by jumping in the air and kicking the Chunin back to the ground. The people of the village would see this and they'd notice he's attacking back. This is when they would all go to attack Naruto and beat him really badly. After a couple days, he'd be healed and notice he got even stronger than what he was before and didn't really understand how. This is when he starts thinking back on his life and how every single time someone had beat him, he would notice he would get even more stronger. He'd get faster, stronger, I would say smarter, but not yet. This would make Naruto think that he could train and use this ability to his advantage. Naruto would then go to the Hokage's office and ask him to get trained or at least have a scroll so he could defend himself. Hiruzen would actually smile and give Naruto a scroll, telling him to master his chakra control before anything else. Naruto would go home and try, but for some reason he couldn't use chakra at all. It would bug him. He would try for about 3 weeks and noticed he couldn't use it properly, so he would keep training and trying. After a couple of months, he would finally figure out how to use his chakra a little efficiently, and he would start training for this. Now, for the next year, he would be training in his chakra control, meaning he'd be about 9 at this point and have chakra control down. So he learned how to tree climb, water walk, and he also learned that he had an affinity for a wind style and learned the wind bullet jutsu. After all that training, he would have gotten way stronger and learned how to actually fight a little. He'd go to the academy, and the day of the sparring matches would come along, and Naruto, of course, would be assigned to fight Sasuke, but he'd lose, of course. Even with his chakra control, he would still lose. Sasuke would actually top him with his amazing taijutsu prowess, and Naruto would keep losing for about 3 months, continuously losing to Sasuke. And after all is said and done, Naruto would train and not really give up any of these times after losing to Sasuke, meaning he would get stronger, and one day he would finally defeat Sasuke, which would actually shock all of the other kids in class. This means Naruto would become the strongest from now on. This means Sasuke would train even harder to catch up to Naruto, and Naruto would keep training, always being on top of Sasuke at this point and learning new jutsus along the years, as well as being the strongest. So that means he would have a little more respect and he would be less annoying because he'd be busy training so much, meaning no more pranks, no more having Sakura be on his bad side. Over time, Sasuke and Naruto fighting each other, they would create a sort of bond with each other, sort of rivalry. They would one day just decide to start training together since they always fought, and they would actually continue to get stronger together. They'd become a sort of dynamic duo, which means by the actual start of the series, they'd be exponentially stronger, with Sasuke unlocking his Sharingan and being way stronger than the original canon, having his chakra control down. Since they spent their time training even harder than in canon, this is why they would have all those things. Except Naruto. For one reason or another, Naruto would get stronger every time he would get hurt due to his Zenkai boost, and it would help him get ahead of Sasuke all the time over the training. Now I'm going to get into what they learned exactly. Okay, so Naruto would have learned 2 more chakra natures, lightning and fire, and Sasuke would have learned lightning and water. Naruto would have many jutsus and have mastered low rank abilities like the clone jutsu and substitution, but what he mainly focused on was his taijutsu, which means he grew exponentially as well as Sasuke, but with Naruto being a stronger fighter and Sasuke would have more finesse and speed. Naruto would always be ahead of Sasuke, with them having a sort of Goku and Vegeta friendship / rivalry. Except being a little closer, they would essentially be more like brothers in this series. The day of the exam was come along and Naruto would still pass in this version, with Mizuki still trying to bullshit Naruto and say, oh, like if you want to pass, like this is the secret portion, but Naruto will not be as dumb as usual and actually be suspicious of him. He would still go along with it with some suspicion, however, and this one Naruto would actually go and steal the scroll of sealing. When he steals it, he would see the shadow clone jutsu, and this is when he would actually learn it. He would see the water dragon jutsu and think about writing it down to show Sasuke the technique. And yeah, he would then proceed to body Mizuki, and I mean, he straight destroys this man. He manhandles him. But with that being said, that's the end of that little phase. I'm gonna go over and skip to the teams. So, in this version, Team 7 will actually be Ino, Sasuke, and Naruto. Now you're probably wondering, what the fuck? Naruto and Sasuke on the same team? Yes. I'm not gonna make up no excuse. No, Naruto didn't fake being at the bottom. Let's just say it's a little thing I like to call plot. And with the Ino thing, I kind of just want her to be a part of the team instead of Sakura, since I hate her. Anyways, that will be the team. Also, Ino will like Naruto in this version, since he'd be the strongest. And oh, I forgot to mention, Naruto's hair will be black too, just cause. Anyways, yeah, that would be the team, and Sakura would take Ino's spot. And that's what we're gonna roll with. They'd then be told to wait for their sensei, and Kakashi would arrive late, like in canon, but this time Naruto wouldn't prank Kakashi, and when Kakashi would walk in, he would see Naruto, Ino, and Sasuke would be getting along quite well. Kakashi would see this and smile, thinking this could be it. He'd then tell them to meet him at the top of the roof, with Naruto going up there and telling him the goals, which would be a little different. Also, guys, if you can hear that, sorry, it's background noise, can't really help it, but you know, you guys still get a what if, so be grateful. Anyways, Sasuke would say his goal is to kill a certain somebody and surpass Naruto in strength. Ino would say she wants to become a strong kunoichi to protect her comrades, and Naruto would say he wants to become the strongest in the village, that he wants to become the Hokage and change people's thoughts on him. And with that, they then get told that that'll be it by Kakashi and told not to eat for tomorrow's practice, and that'll be that. Sasuke would then body flicker away, and Ino and Naruto would actually be left alone. Naruto would then tell Ino if she wants to go grab a bite, and she would say of course, kind of blushing. They'd then go get some food and talk about tomorrow's training, as well as a little flirting, since I'm not gonna lie, Naruto and Ino will be the ship in this series. Anyways, fast forwarding to the next day, Naruto, Ino, and Sasuke of course will be waiting for Kakashi, and he would arrive late, of course, saying he got lost in the path of life. Anyways, after that, they'd be told about how the test works, and Ino would point out that there's only 2 bells, and how will all of them pass if there's only 2? Kakashi would then tell them to figure it out, and he would then tell them to get ready. He would then say go, as he says that Naruto and Sasuke will then rush Kakashi, with Naruto kind of giving a head nod to Sasuke, and Sasuke would figure out the plan, since, you know, that's how this world works. I don't even understand it, but that's how it works. This is when Sasuke would basically shoot a fire style ball jutsu at Kakashi, getting him off guard, and Naruto would then shoot a wind bullet jutsu, increasing the intensity of the attack. Kakashi would then be like, what the fuck? Genin can't do that, and then would put his book away and substitute. They then start to fight Kakashi hand in hand, and Naruto would create about 20 clones, all to attack Kakashi, and remember, they can help with Zenkai boosts too. Naruto just doesn't know it yet. They would then go hide and find Ino. This is when they would make a plan to get the bells and decide Naruto will attack and Sasuke and Ino will jump in when he's caught off guard and take the bells. All of Naruto's clones will be handled rather easily, and this is when Naruto would come in slightly stronger and start pushing Kakashi back quite a bit with taijutsu. They'd have a pretty fire battle, kind of like Kakashi versus Obito when they were kids, and as that's happening, Sasuke would activate his Sharingan, catching Kakashi off guard, and would then use a water dragon jutsu and shoot it straight at Kakashi, with Kakashi being extremely shocked and barely dodging it in that split second. Ino would then come in right as Kakashi's dodging it and he's off balance and snag the bells, resulting in Kakashi being like, you guys pass. He would then tell them that he's very proud of their teamwork and skills as a ninja. He then tells them his speech saying whatever he says, ninja scum, whatever. Anyways, they would all go home for the next month and they'd go on low rank missions. With Sasuke, Naruto, and Ino training together along the month that they have, and Kakashi would actually train them and help improve on their skills. This means Naruto would become even stronger during this time, and Naruto would complain about the low rank missions as well as Ino. She was going to be a little more feisty in this, since that's just how Saiyans like their women. Except Naruto's not a Saiyan, I forgot. But they would then get told by Hiruzen that they could have a SC rank mission, an escort mission, on taking a bridge builder to the Land of Waves. This is when Tazuna would walk in, and this time he doesn't end up calling Naruto short, since he'll be a bit taller in this version and they will actually be taller than Sasuke. He'll then say, "These kids are supposed to protect me," but with that, I'm gonna go ahead and just skip over to the day of the mission. They all meet up at the gate like in canon, and they all head off a little bit. They all head off a little bit. Now, a little bit ahead, Naruto would then notice a puddle on the ground and would then stop, saying, "You can come out now." This is when the two Chunin brothers will then rush at Naruto, and Naruto would kick one of them in the head so hard he sent him crashing into a tree, and Sasuke will come in and sweep the other off his feet and tie them up for questioning. Kakashi will then ask them who hired them, and they wouldn't budge. They would not give any information, so this means Naruto will just kill them and keep going along with the mission, with Kakashi asking Tazuna why some Chunin level ninja came in to attack him. He would then reveal that he had no money like in canon, and Kakashi would then say it's best to go back. This is when Naruto would then say, "We can't go back, we're strong enough to handle almost anybody." And the rest of the team would then nod their heads saying they want to do it basically. They would then go off, later seeing a white bunny or a rabbit, and this is when Zabuza's Zord will actually come out flying from nowhere with everybody dodging. Kakashi will then step up and fight Zabuza, with the fight going exactly like in canon up to when Kakashi gets trapped. This time Naruto and Sasuke will look at each other and come up with the same plan that they did in canon and end up freeing Kakashi, but this time Naruto will actually water walk after he frees Kakashi, meaning he's not going to drown. Now, once he lands, Naruto and Kakashi would actually start double teaming Tazuna and they would overwhelm him, and then the masked ninja that we all know as Haku would come in and throw the Senbon needles at Zabuza and take him away, with Kakashi being passed out and Team 7 going to Tazuna's house to rest for a while, with Naruto getting a very decent Zenkai boost from that experience. And let's just say the gap between Naruto and Sasuke is only growing. Team 7 would train and Ino would learn chakra control because Naruto and Sasuke would decide to help her out a bit and give her a bit more of a nudge. Also, I'm going to include this right now. Ino will have the same amount of chakra control as Sakura in this version. And at this moment, this is when Kakashi would actually wake up, realizing that his team was actually got a little stronger by the time that he woken up. This basically means that they would have gotten a tiny bit stronger than in the original canon, and Kakashi would not have to train them in what he did in the original. He would teach them how to use a couple jutsus and train them in taijutsu. This would go on for a while until the day of the bridge comes along. Naruto would actually wake up kind of late and still beat up the two fodder characters. So things would go along the same. My bad, excuse me about that. And Sasuke would end up fighting Haku. Now, Sasuke would actually have the upper hand in this fight up until Haku uses his ice mirrors, with Sasuke trying to fight her off. He would then be getting stomped pretty bad until Naruto comes in and they both try to take Haku out, with Naruto and Sasuke using fireball jutsus and Sasuke trying to use his water dragon and try to destroy the ice mirrors, but to no avail. Every time they destroyed one, it would just grow back. This would result with Sasuke getting Senbon thrown at him since he's the weaker one, and Naruto jumping in the way, getting dropped, with Sasuke awakening his 2 and 3 Tomoe Sharingan like in the exams. But after that, he would start being on more even terms with Haku, tracking him down and fighting Haku off a bit. But Zabuza, seeing this, would tell Haku to defeat him now. And this is when Haku would actually get pressured into throwing Senbon needles at Sasuke, supposedly killing him. Right as that happens, Naruto will actually wake up and see Sasuke get hit with Senbon needles in slow motion. He would then lose himself to the rage, an uncontrollable rage, and remember all the things that he had been through with Sasuke, thinking that he died. This is when Naruto would actually rush at Haku with the Nine Tails influence and have a one tail cloak. He would then begin to rush at Haku with full speed, and Haku would not be able to perceive any of his movements. This is when Naruto would grab his head and slam it right into the concrete, proceed to almost kill him before lifting him up to see it was Haku. This is when he would calm down a bit in canon and scream at him, "Why did you do it?" With Haku saying, "For my special person." Also, yes, Haku and Naruto did have the small interaction. I'm sorry I forgot to mention that, but I did now, so y'all can chill. But regardless, Haku then tells Naruto to kill him, but before Naruto goes in to destroy him with a Gale Palm, Haku then goes in front of the lightning blade and dies for Zabuza like in canon, with Naruto being like, okay. And right as this happens, Gato's men would arrive, and the same stuff would happen with Zabuza murdering all of Gato's men and Naruto giving Zabuza the Talk no Jutsu, humanizing Zabuza and making him a better character. Now after this happens, Zabuza obviously kills the men, not letting any of them escape, and Sasuke would actually wake up coughing blood and be like, "Did we win?" And Naruto would be right next to him smiling, saying, "We won." So they would stay for a bit, a little longer, for them all to heal, and they would all go back home to the Hidden Leaf Village, where they all get told about the tuning exams, and the Naruto Bridge, of course, will be named the Naruto Bridge, since Naruto's a badass and we all love Naruto. Now, this is when they would get back to the village, and they would see Konohamaru run away, running in a certain direction. Naruto would actually chase after Konohamaru, seeing what he's doing, and this is when Konohamaru will actually bump into Kankuro, with Kankuro picking up Konohamaru and being like, "You better watch it, kid." This is when Naruto would blitz behind Temari and Kankuro, with Gaara being shocked and Naruto being like, "You better not harm the third Hokage's grandson unless you want a war between villages." This is when Kankuro will actually sweat a little bit and then say, I'm sorry," putting Konohamaru down, and then Naruto would then look at Gaara and say, "Hey, you seem to be the strongest of this team. Keep them in check or I'll do it for you," with Gaara giving Naruto a bit of bloodlust and Naruto giving some back. This would lead to Gaara saying he looks forward to fighting Naruto, and Team 7 would basically leave. I forgot to mention Ino actually tagged along, as well as Sasuke, after they saw Naruto running. So boys, I'm gonna go ahead and skip to the actual test. So I'm not gonna go over none of the little prelims or any of the freaking the written exam. I hate that. Wait, no, I'm gonna skip. I didn't mean to say that. I meant to say I'm gonna skip to the day of the exam. Now, Team 7 would get there, and Naruto would basically see Lee. This is when Lee would come in and try to challenge Naruto. This would basically lead to Naruto smirking and then looking up to see Lee throwing a mean kick at Naruto. Naruto would block this with his arm and then send Rock Lee back flying and smile. Then rushing at Rock Lee and start to throw some very solid taijutsu hands with Naruto on top due to raw physical monster strength. After this, the turtle would come in and stop the fight, with Naruto being like, "Wow, man, you are really strong. Let's do this again sometime." And Lee would actually be like, "You really think so?" Naruto would then say, "Yeah, man, like your talent is amazing." Now, this means that Naruto and Lee would begin a sort of friendship, and they would both go their separate ways. Now, Naruto would leave his team, and they would do the exam. Now, Naruto does his bullshit again, but differently this time, due to him being a little more of a badass. They'd then go into the actual exams, and Naruto wouldn't actually make Anko mad in this, so no weird interaction with Orochimaru. Okay, boys. Naruto and Ino would actually go into the forest, and they'd be talking, when Sasuke would then say, "Naruto, what's the plan?" Naruto would look back and say, "Oh, I thought you would think of that," with Sasuke grinning and saying, "Let's create shadow clones and disperse them to collect our scrolls. Let's all stay at this spot." Ino and Naruto would then be like, "Got it." Then they'd create shadow clones, and in a couple minutes, Naruto would be like, "Guys, I gotta take a leak," with both of them kind of face palming, and Naruto going to the tree to go, take care of business. And this is when Naruto would actually get attacked by another Genin. This is when he would then take him out and rush back to his team. Now on the way back, he would get attacked by a giant snake that he kills with no problem at all. He would then rush to his team, who's actually currently fighting against Orochimaru. So as Naruto gets there, he sees Sasuke shooting a water dragon jutsu at Orochimaru that he dodges and sees Orochimaru right almost about to bite Sasuke's neck. This is when Naruto will actually jump in there and cut off his head with his kunai. But this is when Orochimaru reveals that it was nothing more than a clone and then goes to attack Naruto, saying that he has a nice buddy too. And that'll be taking them both, to which Naruto and Sasuke and Ino say, no you won't. This is when Ino will try to use her mind transfer jutsu but fails and falls unconscious for a little bit. And tries to attack, but Naruto, wait. This is when she would fall unconscious and she'd pass out for a tiny little bit. This is when Naruto would go into attack and tell Sasuke to stay back. This is when Orochimaru and Naruto would actually start throwing some big ol' hands, and they would fight up until Naruto gets a little pissed and start using a little bit of the chakra from the Nine Tails. This is when Orochimaru will actually get serious and tighten the seal on Naruto, knocking him out and biting Sasuke's neck before saying, I'll be seeing you again, Sasuke-kun. Just kidding, he didn't say that, but he said, I'll be seeing you again, Sasuke, and then he'll disappear. After this, Ino would make another shadow clone and start taking them to the same spot that Sakura did. She would then start resting and taking care of them both, mostly Naruto because, that's her Naruto-kun. And she would start setting traps, and this is when she would then fall asleep, with Lee running past and noticing that Ino was actually taking care of Naruto and Sasuke's wounds, so he would decide to stay around and watch what happens. The next day would roll around, and this is when the Sound 3 ninja would come in and try to take Sasuke, and this is when Ino would actually stand up for her teammates, not like Sakura being a little bitch. So she would actually get into fighting position, but right before the Sasuke retrieval guys would come in and try to take him, Lee would actually jump in and say, I'll help you protect Naruto and Sasuke. Ino would smile and thank him, and they'll go into attack. Sadly, Lee gets fucked up again like usual, but Ino was actually able to take out the girl Genin by hitting her with a surprise shadow clone that came back after searching for the scrolls. She would then knock her out, and this is when she tries to fight the other two but gets fucked up and is about to cut her hair. But this is when Sakura, Shikamaru, and Choji would come in and save the day, kind of. They would start fighting, and this is when Sasuke and Naruto would wake up, and Sasuke starts fucking shit up along with Naruto, and they end up killing the Sound Genin. Sasuke does it out of the curse mark, and Naruto because they just hurt his girl. Like, come on now, he ain't letting them slide with that shit. But yeah, that happens, and Naruto is able to calm Sasuke down. Now, they would actually thank the team that Inashikacho, what team is that? They would basically thank Sakura, Shikamaru, and Choji, and also thank Lee for helping them go. This is when all of those teams would basically go to the tower, and this is when they're then told about the matches, the preliminaries, and Naruto has to fight Kiba like usual, except this time Naruto doesn't win by shitting in his face. Naruto actually fights him in a fair taijutsu battle, and after he gets bored, he just uses a Gale Palm to destroy Kiba. Also, the rest of the matches will go perfectly to canon except for the match with Sakura and Ino, since she's stronger, so she fucks her up. Oh wait, I need her to lose. Let's just say some other random guy gets through. He's irrelevant. By the way, it's just gonna be for like Ino to pass through. So Ino defeats Sakura, and let's just say Naruto hypes Ino up for winning, and then Hinata's match comes up. But this time things change a little bit. As Neji's about to strike the final blow, Naruto actually gets in front of Neji and catches his hand. This is when he will then get up into Neji's face and say, I'll prove to you that hard work will beat talent any day, and that he better be ready to get what she got. So, now, Sasuke's curse mark will get sealed away with Kakashi having his encounter with Orochimaru, and for the next couple of days, Naruto will actually be training with Ino, getting closer, if you know what I mean. Now, Naruto would actually teach her a couple jutsus, and they would actually lay down on the grass, actually, cuddling a little bit. That's all they're doing. Don't think anything too crazy. Now, after this, one day Naruto will actually be walking down the streets of Konoha, going to go to the ramen shop. But this is when Naruto will see a weird perv and be like, hey, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Stop that shit. Was Jiraiya turning around being like, oh, I was looking for you. Naruto being like, why is that? I don't know you. With Jiraiya being like, I'm one of the legendary Sannin. With Naruto being like, who's that? Which makes Jiraiya do that. You know, that anime fall, if you know what I mean. Like that thing where they're like, and they just fall over. He'll then get up and explain and tell Naruto to train, that he's going to be training him for the month. With Naruto being like, I'm good. And Jiraiya is just like, how about this? If you can beat me in a fight, I'll leave you alone. But if you lose, you're going to come train with me. Now, Naruto would say, you're on, old man. And they would go to a forest and get ready to fight. Naruto will start off by making 20 clones who will attack Jiraiya to test the waters a little bit, with Jiraiya fucking them all up and Naruto being like, this guy's incredible. They would then fight for a little, swapping hands, and Naruto would land a clean ass Gale Palm, followed by a wind bullet jutsu, and Jiraiya would take the blow and think, wow, he's just like his father, maybe even stronger. They would then keep fighting, and unfortunately for Naruto, he would lose mid-difficulty to Jiraiya. Now, Jiraiya would then spend the next few weeks teaching him how to make the Rasengan, summon the giant toad, and this means he would save a lot of time since he would create a couple of shadow clones to help him do this. Now, he would lose these jutsus a lot quicker thanks to his already good chakra control, and Sasuke would learn the Chidori and copy Rock Lee's taijutsu, also learning better genjutsus and having a 2 times buff than the one he had in canon because he wants to beat Naruto, so he trained even harder. Now, Ino will learn how to use chakra attacks during this time and how to increase her physical strength with chakra. Not to the Tsunade degree, but you could definitely feel the difference if she was to hit you. She'd also learn the water dragon jutsu and have an affinity for water, obviously. Okay, the day would come around and Naruto would get onto the stage and have a black outfit, kind of like the one that Goku Black has. Basically, the colors are the same and Naruto would just be looking a bit sexier, if you know what I'm saying. Anyways, he'd then get onto the stage and not be playing any games with Neji, toying with him at first and making Neji the butt of a joke. He would then show the crowd how Neji is nothing more than a fake. He's not a prodigy. Naruto is. He could take him out without breaking a sweat. This is when Naruto would smile and say, this is all you got. This is when Naruto would then say, I'm getting really tired of you. Hitting Neji with a Gale Palm and then whipping out a Rasengan and sending him flying. This is when he would then walk over an almost unconscious Neji saying, hard work can beat talent. He would then go away and Sasuke would arrive late like usual and the fight would literally go to canon. This is when the Konoha attack would go down and Gaara would run away with Sasuke chasing him and Naruto chasing Sasuke. And Ino chasing Naruto. Try saying that fast 3 times. They would then go for a bit until Kankuro would actually come in and try to stop them. This one Shino would come in and take care of him and Tamari would come in and try to stop them. But this one Ino would actually stay back to fight with Tamari, with Naruto leaving a shadow clone to help her out. He would then continue to chase Gaara, and as this is happening, Sasuke would actually be trying desperately to fight Gaara, but Gaara would still be way too much for Sasuke, unfortunately. And it would basically lead to Sasuke trying to hit him with the Chidori, but to no avail since his other attacks don't really work. This one he would try to genjutsu him, but he's immune to it because of his tailed beast, and he would basically slap Sasuke away, with Sasuke getting angry and the power of the curse mark trying to take over. Sasuke would then actually start standing a chance against him once the curse mark would take over and start fighting him until he lands another hit. This is when Gaara would actually fully transform and go in to kill Sasuke, but right as this happens, Naruto would come in at full speed and save Sasuke, taking him away and says, Sasuke, are you okay? Sasuke would then say, yeah, Naruto, coughing a bit, and Naruto would then think, okay, good. He would then summon Gamabunta, with Gamabunta being like, oh, it's you. And Naruto being like, there's no time. Help me take this tailed beast out. With Gamabunta being like, you want me to fight a fucking tailed beast? He would then say, don't worry. We'll use the transformation jutsu in the fight. With Shikaku would basically go to canon, with the difference being it would be a little more easier. And Naruto wouldn't actually get caught in the sand. And would go in to knock Gaara in the head, waking him up and making Shikaku go away. This is when they would start falling and Naruto would land perfectly with Gaara hitting the ground twice as hard. This is when Naruto would then look at Gaara and say, if you ever try to kill my friends again, I'll murder you. With Gaara looking at him and asking, how are you so strong? Naruto would then say, it's because I have friends who motivate me. and I want to prove people wrong. Unlike you, I didn't pity myself and I actually trained. And I gathered some people's acknowledgement. I even gained a brother," looking at Sasuke's direction, with Gaara realizing that he was wrong this whole time, and Tamari and Kankuro coming in and taking Gaara. Gaara would realize his mistakes and thank Tamaro and Kankuro, just like in canon, telling them that he's sorry for everything he had ever done to them, and thanking them for rescuing him. They would then have a sort of a bonding moment, and after this, Naruto would pass out from chakra exhaustion. This when he would wake up and find out that Lord Third had died, and would fall into a pretty sad state, since in this version, after Naruto asked for training, he would actually have gotten a little more closer to the Hokage. This would lead to Jiraiya telling Naruto that they need to go get the next Hokage, and Naruto would be like, okay, but could Ino come? With Jiraiya kind of teasing Naruto and being like, of course your girlfriend could come. With Naruto and Ino kind of blushing a little bit. This one they would all hit off. And Naruto would actually help Ino train along the way, since he had already developed the Rasengan. So there was no need for that. And they would actually, during this entire time, would actually be bonding, with Naruto thinking about asking Ino out. Not quite finding the way to go about it, but this is when they would actually be left alone in a hotel. Naruto would just say it and ask her if she'd want to be his girlfriend, and she'd say yes. And after this would happen, they'd actually start making out for about 2 minutes. And 4 minutes into it, they would then get a knock at the door, and Naruto, sensing the malicious intent, would actually get pissed as fuck, because they had just ruined his once in a lifetime opportunity, if you know what I mean. And this is when Naruto would then look at Ino and get serious and say, as soon as I open the door, you run and get Jiraiya. She nods and runs the fuck away. This is when Naruto would then create a clone and open the back of the door. Wait, no, this is when Naruto would create a clone to open the door, and the clone actually gets killed. Naruto would then jump back and decides he has to go all out against these two or he'll die. He would then activate the lightning cloak. That's right, boys. He got a lightning cloak. And pump chakra. Wait, does he even have a lightning element? I give him lightning and fire, lightning and fire, lightning and fire. Does he even? Oh my god. Does he even have a lightning element? Did I give that to him? Guys, if I didn't give it to him, he has it. And if I did, then I'm sorry. So yeah, that's basically what he was actually working on in secret with Jiraiya. And he would begin to pump chakra into all of his attacks. He would then hit Kisame off guard, sending him flying, and this is when he would start swapping hands with Itachi and Naruto fighting for a bit until Kisame would actually step in, but this is when Itachi would then tell Kisame not to interfere. They'd fight for a bit, with them going very hard at each other, and Naruto would then say, Rasengan! And shoot one into Itachi, which actually ends up turning into crows. This is when Naruto would look behind him, and before he knew it, he was put under a genjutsu and taken down. As this happens, Sasuke comes in running and screaming, Die, Itachi! With his Chidori, and trying to come in and kill Itachi, with Itachi actually being like surprised at how strong Sasuke is and acknowledges him. He would then start to think that his time is actually coming soon, but sadly, Sasuke still has a ways to go. He would then tell him that he's too weak and that he needs more hatred. And this is when Jiraiya and Ino would come in and use his toad mouth jutsu. And Itachi would actually then tell Kisame that they need to retreat, since he was actually a little damaged from fighting Naruto, and they would escape like in canon. After this, Naruto and Sasuke would wake up, and Naruto would get even stronger due to his Zenkai boost. Sasuke would get taken away, and Ino and Naruto would just keep going. Along the way, they'd be flirting, and Jiraiya would then look at Naruto and say, Wow, Naruto, you got yourself a girl this early? I'm a proud godfather. With Naruto and Ino both being surprised, being like, wait, what? And Jiraiya being like, oh yeah, I'm your grandfather, Naruto. I trained your dad. Naruto be like, what the fuck? And just kind of accept it. He would then say, I'm glad you're my grandfather, Jiraiya. And about an hour would go by. This is when they would actually arrive at the bar that Tsunade was at, and the stuff would go very similarly to canon, with Ino actually being there being the only major difference, and Naruto's reaction to her bullshit will actually be a major difference. Once Tsunade starts talking crap about the Hokage, Naruto will then begin to say, You have no right to disrespect the Hokage. They gave their life for the village, and you're just a no good waste of a shinobi who's gonna die alone. with nothing but regret and sadness. Tsunade will then get up and break the table and tell Naruto to go outside. Naruto will then say gladly. She'll then say, if you die, it's not my fault. And Naruto will then say, if I win, you're coming back to the Leaf Village. And she'll then say, if I win, I want all of your money. And if you win, I'll even give you my necklace. Naruto will then grin and get serious. Tsunade will actually charge in at Naruto and punch him. And Naruto will actually turn into a log and appear behind Tsunade, throwing a thunderous kick that Tsunade actually barely blocks with both arms. But she still ends up getting sent flying back, and she's then extremely shocked. Naruto would then activate Naruto will then activate his chakra cloak and then rush in to attack at Tsunade. This one, Tsunade will actually be extremely shocked at what's going on. And Tsunade will be like, oh my god, this kid is strong. This is when Naruto would actually whip out the Rasengan and hit her from behind her back, with Tsunade being extremely shocked, saying, Jiraiya, how could you teach him this? They would then get into it for a little longer, and Tsunade would actually land a pretty solid hit on Naruto. It sends Naruto flying. Naruto would then get extremely angry and rush at her with the power of the one-tail cloak activated. Tsunade would then be like, holy shit. And this is when she would actually activate her 100 ceilings jutsu. Naruto and Tsunade would actually be going at it, but right as Tsunade was about to hit Naruto, Jiraiya would actually come in and step into the fight, stopping Tsunade's punch and calming Naruto down. And that would be the end of it. So Jiraiya would then scold at Tsunade, telling her how dare she almost try to kill him. That's his godson, with Tsunade being like, this is your godson? She would then say that, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's his fault for getting her that riled up. She would then help Naruto up and tell him that she's going to be going back to the village, as she's very interested in him, and how she's going to give him his necklace. Now, Naruto would get the necklace, and Tsunade wouldn't actually go to meet up with Orochimaru, so that whole incident won't actually be happening in this version. Now, they would get back to the Konoha village, and this is when Tsunade would actually end up healing Kakashi as well as Sasuke, and Naruto and Jiraiya, as well as Tsunade, would actually build a little more of a bond with Ino and Naruto going out on a couple dates, since, you know, they're together now. And that's basically where things are at for now. Now, after Sasuke wakes up, he would actually begin to tell Naruto that he wants to fight him, and Naruto has no choice. So Naruto, seeing that Sasuke is overcome by emotions, would then tell Sasuke that he's not in the right mind state, with Sasuke telling him he doesn't care, that if he doesn't fight him, he's just gonna have to start it right here, right now. Now Naruto would then sigh and say, okay, Sasuke. Now they would then go on top of the roof and start fighting. And when they would start fighting, it would become extremely evident that Sasuke had been surpassed long, long ago. Naruto would actually be destroying Sasuke in taijutsu, jutsus, and when it comes to the Chidori and Rasengan clash, if it wasn't for Jiraiya, Kakashi, sorry about that, Kakashi stepping in, Naruto would have definitely killed Sasuke, even though he was bringing his Rasengan power level way more. He was basically weakening it to the point of where it was before, with Sasuke realizing that if it wasn't for Kakashi, he could have died. And he would then go away being angered at Naruto, thinking that was supposed to be his equal. Like, what happened? Like, how is he so strong, with Kakashi going up to him and telling him that revenge will only lead to nothing? What will he have then with the usual Kakashi and Sasuke talk? I wish I had the actual link so I could edit it in here, but sadly I don't. We all know what I'm talking about though. After this, Kakashi would then be led on to go think about everything, and this is when Sasuke would actually be met up with the Sound 4. With the Sound 4 taking out Sasuke, and Sasuke realizing that if he wants power, he has to go to Orochimaru. Now, he would not be stopped by Ino or anybody, or even Sakura, so this means he's scot-free a little further than usual. The original team that was assigned would actually be assigned this time. Shikamaru will still be the leader, and the only major difference would be that when what's his name? The fat guy, the guy who used the Earth Jutsu, the Earth Dome Jutsu, would basically get shattered by Naruto as quick as possible. And this means that all the other fights in the original version would actually go perfectly to canon with when Naruto reaches Kinimaru, or when Naruto reaches Sasuke, Kinimaru will appear. Now this would go a little different. As soon as the battle starts, Kinimaru would use his bones to try to catch Naruto off guard, with Naruto flipping and dodging all of his attacks. Naruto would actually get hit in the leg by one of these, and it would actually hinder his combat ability. This is when Naruto would then think about Sasuke and think about how he has to help him. He can't let his brother go down like this. And Kinimaru would actually not want to lose because of Orochimaru. You know, he can't let him down. Now the fight would actually be extremely ferocious, with Kinimaru going into his first stage of the curse mark and Naruto activating his lightning cloak. They would start clashing, but it would become very evident that Naruto was not going to come out on top of that fight. Now as soon as this happens, Naruto would actually have enough and would get very angry, activating a little bit more power and pushing himself further, going plus ultra. Wait, that's the wrong anime. Going plus ultra, and would basically get toe to toe with Kinimaru. This is when Kinimaru would actually activate the second stage of the curse mark, with Naruto being like, oh man, and he would actually start fighting with Kinimaru on pretty decent. Wait, no, not decent. Kinimaru would actually start destroying Naruto. I mean, obliterating him. This is when Kinimaru would actually come in to do the final blow, but Gaara would come in and save Naruto, coming in clutch. Gaara and Rock Lee would come in and tell Naruto to run and go chase after Sasuke, telling them that they can handle it. And that fight would basically end as the canon, with Kinimaru dying before he could complete his final attack. Now Naruto would catch up to Sasuke and have the original talk with Sasuke before the battle, with Sasuke telling him that he wouldn't understand his pain. He's never had a family. He never lost anything that meant that much to him. With Naruto saying, you're right, Sasuke, but you need to understand you were far more lucky than me. I wish I had those bonds. I wish I knew what it was like to experience love. You had those chances and they're hurting you. I understand this, but you need to get over it. This revenge will not take you anywhere, with Sasuke telling him, enough, Naruto. You don't know anything about it. You don't know anything about it, Naruto. And Naruto would then get angry. This is when they would get into their taijutsu battle, and the original battle would actually go to canon. Now Sasuke and Naruto would be on not so even terms, with Naruto actually being on the losing side and Sasuke actually coming out on top a tad bit. Now, as this is happening, Naruto would notice that he's getting overwhelmed slowly, and Sasuke would then reveal that he hadn't even been using his Sharingan up to this point. Now Naruto would be shocked by this revelation and then think that, okay, I guess I need to go even harder on you. He would then start using about 75% of his normal base strength, and Sasuke would activate his Sharingan. He would only use the one Tomoe at this point, and this is when they would actually get into a pretty amazing fight, with Naruto using the ladder that he used in the original canon, the anime version, not the manga, and slam Sasuke into the ground. They would then start clashing fists in a sort of Goku and Vegeta fashion, and Sasuke would use his two Tomoe to overpower Naruto slowly. Now Naruto would actually be on the losing side. This is when Naruto would realize he has to pull out all the stops if he wants to stop Sasuke. He would then activate his lightning cloak and rush at Sasuke, with Sasuke rushing at him saying, Naruto! And Sasuke and Naruto would then say, Sasuke! They would then clash, and Naruto and Sasuke would get into a fierce battle, getting pushed back, with neither of them getting one step ahead of each other. As this is happening, Naruto would decide enough is enough and activate his chakra cloak. Even push his chakra cloak even further, with Sasuke activating his 3 Tomoe Sharingan. They would then push each other even more than before, and would both have an amazing battle. Unfortunately, Sasuke has a little bit of an upper hand and ends up stabbing Naruto. This is when Naruto will then cut Sasuke's headband, and Sasuke will actually be forced to be pushed back. As this is happening, As this is happening, Naruto would actually get enraged and activate the one-tail cloak. As this is happening, he would then start to body Sasuke, basically punching him all the way across the valley into a mountain, and then start punching him deep into it, creating a 20-foot deep crater of Sasuke's body into the mountain, with Sasuke passing out unconscious and Naruto saying, "I will destroy every bone in your body unless you come back, Sasuke." And Sasuke would basically pass out from the pain. This one, Naruto would actually fall to his knees, being a little tired, and then grab Sasuke, pick him up to go away. This one, Orochimaru would actually come in and take out Naruto in a quick fashion before Naruto could even notice it. Naruto would fall onto the ground, onto his knees, and say, "Sasuke, I'm sorry." With Sasuke being taken away by Orochimaru and Kakashi arriving a little too late. If Kakashi would have arrived, they might have been able to save Sasuke, but he was taken away. He was so close to it. He almost had it. Now after this, Naruto would be taken to the hospital, and he would wake up extremely angry at himself, thinking, "God damn it, I was so close. I was so close." He would then get enraged, and he would then talk to Kakashi and Ino, which would actually help him calm down. Now this is when Naruto would actually be talking to Jiraiya, and Jiraiya will actually inform him about the Akatsuki and about reminding him about Itachi as well as Kisame. He would then reveal to Naruto that they're going to be going on a 3-year training quest, and Naruto would actually tell Jiraiya that of course he's up for it, telling Jiraiya that telling Ino that he'll be back in 3 years, with Ino being a little saddened, and Naruto telling her that he'll see her in 3 years. Now that's where I'm going to be ending the first part off. Like I said, guys, in the beginning of the video, you could go to my boy King Donald's channel. I'm going to leave the link in the description. And that's basically it for part 1 of Naruto. He's going to be covering the time skip and the end of Naruto Shippuden. So I hope you guys enjoyed this part. I hope you guys leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what your favorite part was. Let me know what I could do differently. But with that being said, Zether out.